Hello, I'm Nick Crawley. Welcome to the Bible for Life pod ministry. This month we're looking at Paul's little letter of Philemon, tucked away right at the end of the list of 13 letters that we have recorded by Paul. And the fascinating thing about this letter is that it's a very personal one. It's written from Paul in prison, and he could have been either at Ephesus or in Rome. And he's writing to his friend Philemon, who's a Christian leader, and he's sending back a slave called Onesimus, who has run away from Philemon, who has been converted through Paul's ministry, and is now a reasonably mature Christian. But Paul realizes that the situation has got to be sorted out. He's a Roman citizen after all, and he's got to do the right thing, and he's got to send Onesimus back. So he does with this letter, and the crucial thing is that he says to Philemon, now come on, treat Onesimus as your brother, and whatever wrongs he may have done to you in the past, he may have stolen, he may have offended you in different ways, he's run away from you, which as a slave in the Roman Empire was a very serious offence. But Paul is saying to Philemon, now come on, love him as a brother. And the key verse is verse 6. And where he says that Paul is praying that Philemon will understand the full implications of the situation and what he must now do in the situation. Now, the letter itself is written brilliantly. It's absolutely outstanding in terms of the argument and in terms of what the way Paul goes about it. It's even one commentator likened it to Mark Antony's speech in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Say the argumentation and the sheer skill involved, and I think that's perfectly fair. It's as you read it, you'll see that it is extremely remarkable. And Paul is, in this letter, planting a massive time bomb under the entire system of slavery in the Roman Empire. And that is why this is so important. Now, the reason I wanted to do this this month was because I recently saw the film 12 Years a Slave, and was really, frankly, appalled at the abuse of Scripture in that film, and thought, no, we've got to do better than this. It is not good enough just to say that the New Testament supports slavery. It most emphatically does not, and that point needs to be made. The truth is that actually slavery was a much more complicated system in the Roman Empire, and it varied a great deal across the Roman Empire, and the Roman economy depended on slavery, so particularly in the capital cities. So the question has to be answered much more carefully. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 21 is quite clear that Paul says if you can attain your freedom, you must do so. But he also he goes about it in a much more subtle way, and he basically paints a context where the slaves and the masters are both answerable to God. And he really raises the perspective and says, no, come on, we've got to look at this more fully, and understand things more carefully in this. So anyway, that's what we're looking at this month. My suggestion is you read Philemon many times, enter into the whole feel of it, and see what's going on, and particularly read Colossians chapters 3 and 4, particularly chapter 4, because you can see the two letters, Colossians and Philemon, were written at the same time. Indeed, many commentators bunch the two together. You'll see that the names in chapter 4 are mentioned at the end of Philemon. Just very small discrepancy, which may mean that one letter was written, say, 2 or 3 days after the other one. Fascinating situation. Once again, once you get into these things, you find the context starts to breathe life and give many fascinating insights into what's going on. One of the key things, of course, is here is Paul telling Philemon that he must work out his faith in this situation. This is an example of Christianity coming in contact with secular culture and saying, now, come on, work out your faith in this situation. One very tragic example recently was the Rwanda and Burundi massacres in around about the mid-1990s, where there was serious racism in those churches. And when the political situation and the secular situation got out of control, and there was hatred and there was fighting, the churches got involved, and it was just terrible. Nevertheless, in that context, there were some very fine examples of Christians saying, no, we are brothers and sisters together, and we're not going to attack each other. Sadly, that was not a very common thing, but nevertheless, there were some fine examples. What Paul is saying in this letter is that Philemon must work out his faith in this context and must learn to love his brother Onesimus and work out all the implications of that. And we need to be asking the question, what is it that we cannot see? Where is it that we might be going wrong and treating people badly? And how do we work this out? What do we do? These are the penetrating questions. We need to look at them carefully. So here we are, a short book, a fascinating insight into applying Christianity today, and I think you'll enjoy it a great deal. It's a wonderful thing. It's to be the last particular video of this particular season before the summer break. So I look forward to being in touch and podding with you in due course. Enjoy. God bless.